This is the plaintiff, Janice Barlow. She says the menace to society, defendant, sped through a stop sign as she was crossing the street with her beloved pinchers, Mr. and DeMarco, as she was walking them on their leashes. And she plowed right into Mr., breaking his neck and killing him right in front of her eyes. The horrible defendant stopped, looked at what she did, and then took off. Luckily, the cops tracked her down, and here they are. She's suing for $2,663, the cost of cremation bill, and to purchase another dog. This is the defendant, Shashamani Folks. She says she did hit the dog, but then an angry mob was descending on her car. She got scared and took off because she thought they were going to beat her up right there on the spot. She drove to the police station and explained what happened. 2 weeks later, the plaintiff showed up at her house with her dog's remains in hand and then demanded $2,000 from her. Bottom line, she feels very badly about what happened, but the plaintiff's dogs were not on leashes in the middle of the street and ran in front of her car. She's accused of hitting and running. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,000 for harassment.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Barlow, tell me what happened that day.
Hi, good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm happy to be here. Thank you. Well, I have two miniature pinchers, one DeMarco and one Mr. And on the day in question, I was walking out my house, and as I crossed the street, and they were on leashes, and on the corner there's a tree, and as I stepped out off the curb by the tree, there's a stop sign a little further back, and the witness did a stop and roll at the stop sign.
The witness, are you referring to her?
I mean, not the witness, excuse me. The defendant did a stop and roll at the stop sign. And as she did a stop and roll, she took off speeding. She didn't exactly stop the way she should have. And my neighbor across the street stepped off the curb as well and tried to flag her to stop like this. And
why? Because what happened? What did she do when she took off speeding?
She actually plummeted and took Mr. Out of my hand, so to speak, as she plunged through him and hit him and broke his neck and his collar that was on his neck, which is a leather green collar, along with the leather green leash. She basically swooped him out my hand. I let go of the leash, and she drug him a little bit. He was caught up under until his collar broke in half. And she took off. She stopped a little ways down past my house. She looked back. She stuck her head out the window, and she took off.
What did she say anything when she stuck her head out the window?
No, she didn't say anything, and just so happened all my neighbors was outside this day. It was a nice, bright, sunny day.
I take it Mr. didn't survive?
He didn't survive.
I'm sorry about that. What happened that day?
No, I stopped at the stop sign, and when I drove, I realized that I hit something. I didn't know what it was. We thought I hit glass.
Were you in there too?
Yes, he was in the car.
vehicle.
I heard glass. So I thought I hit glass. I stopped. When I turned around, I seen a dog in the middle of the street. She was at her back door. And when I looked,
she was at her back door?
Her back door. She was not on, the dog was not on a leash.
The dog was not on a leash.
She was not near the dog, because if she was on a leash, if I was speeding like they say I am, she would have been hit too. I would have hit her, or I would have seen her, or she'd been close to the car. She wasn't. She was at the back door.
Or would have dragged her and knocked her down. All right, no. So you're saying the dog was not on a leash, and what happened according to you?
I didn't see the dog when I drove out. Like, I didn't see, and I even asked him, like, did you see what it was that we hit? That's why I stopped. I seen it was a dog. Of course, I seen people coming.
But you heard the bump.
Yes, and that's what made me stop. When I stopped, I panicked because I hit a dog. And I seen people coming to my car. I didn't know what to do, and getting called out my name.
Wait, when you say your name, who called out your name?
No, called out my name. She called me.
What do you mean by that?
She raised her hand up. It was like, when I hit the dog.
Oh.
Yes.
So what happens? Is there another dog also?
After that, I didn't witness it myself, but he said after that, we seen her other dog ran up to the dog. And that's when I started hearing the neighbors coming towards the car, and I left because I panicked, pulled over, had like a little panic attack, and I went straight to the police station.
You drove straight to the police
Straight
station?
to the police
And you
station.
gave them a report, listen, this is what happened.
When
but
I got there,
why did you panic? You thought people were going to come in and drag you out and kill you?
I didn't know what to do. And because
Well, why did you, you're laughing like, yes. Why did
Yeah.
you think that?
As she said, it was a very nice day. Everybody was outside, so she had a lot of people in front of her house. When she stopped the car, we were ready to get out, but as soon as we heard her name getting called out.
Was that a phrase or name getting called out? That means when you're
being
called a B
out
word?
of her name,
All right,
like
yeah.
B, all of that.
All right,
so,
all right.
and then we seen a group of people over there. So we're like, we panicked. So we're like, we're not ready for this. So that's when we pulled off. And
when I got to the police station, they told me to have a seat. They're at the scene. They'll be here in a minute. And as soon as he left the scene, he came.
but
He talked to me.
the dogs, the dogs were not on the leash.
Was there a police report that was written?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me see anything you guys have from a police report. Who's the gentleman who's with you?
This is my son.
Okay, you tell me what you saw.
So when it actually caught my attention was when I heard like some, whoa, whoa, whoa. It was the guy across the street trying to tell her to stop. Like I heard the guy yelling, trying to like stop her from hitting the dog.
Oh, from hitting the dog,
Yeah,
because he could see what was going to happen.
Right, the guy across the street, he had pretty much seen it like already coming. And like
How
that,
did
so.
he see it, but you didn't, if it was at the end of a leash that you were holding? How did your neighbor run from across the street because he saw it, but you didn't?
Because if you, Your Honor, if you take a look at the pictures that I sent you.
So which one of these is your house?
Okay. No,
Is this your house?
Yeah, the green house.
Okay.
Okay, I come out the side door. So I'm standing behind this tree, as you see. And Mr. stops at the tree always and urinates right there.
Okay.
So as we're stepping off the curb, I'm basically behind the tree. I don't see the car right away.
Does a car come this way or that way?
Yeah, that way.
That way. Is that accurate? It was this way?
Because we
Hold
are
on. Where's her stop? Did you have a stop sign?
It was at the corner of Wyoming and Sussex.
Yeah, because I'm. Yeah.
Wait, is that her corner?
No, it's the corner before her.
Right. Where's the stop sign in your corner? That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
I'm not seeing a stop sign there.
Okay, she had a stop sign at Sussex.
A block ago.
Right.
Okay, so she doesn't have a stop sign at your corner.
Right.
And your dog, leashed or not, got run over not on the sidewalk, but on the street.
Right, we're crossing the street. But
You're behind the tree.
Stepping off the curb to cross, and I had enough time to cross.
Why are you crossing? No, you didn't, because a dog got killed. You didn't have enough time to cross. So either the dog was not on a leash, or the dog is on some 6-foot leash, and you're just not watching, and your dog is in the street, because the accident doesn't happen on the sidewalk. It happens in the street, where a car has the right to go. I thought she was running a stop sign, but she wasn't running a stop sign. The stop sign was a block ago. She's just driving. I mean, this is a horrible situation. It's horrible that this happened. You know, and I'm not suggesting it's your fault, but when you come to court, you got to prove it's her fault. She didn't even have a stop sign there. She had a stop sign a block ago. What did she do wrong?
She was speeding, Your Honor, in a residential area. So when she left the stop sign, she took off real fast, and when we were getting in the street, she actually swerved
You know,
around.
it's a block away, right?
Right.
It's a block away. So we're talking about she came up really fast, but you didn't see her. You didn't know she was there, and your dog was in the middle of the street.
But when I stepped off the curb, when she took off from the stop sign, she floored it. She like that. She actually stepped on the gas
Did she
harder.
floor the? Did she?
No, she didn't.
She did.
Yeah, I just don't see why. Why would I
Because
believe
several
that?
witnesses-
I know you're upset, and I know you're out the dog, and you're out the cremation fee,
Right.
and that it's very
and the
upsetting.
witnesses even witnessed her took off from the stop sign, speeding tremendously. She took
What
off
speeding?
from that
How
stop
fast
sign.
could she go in a
She was
block?
going at-
She can't even get. What kind of car do you drive?
She
a
was
Porsche?
at least
A Nissan Altima.
right.
Okay, even if she floored it, what speed could she have come at in that short distance? Why have you let your dog start to cross when you don't know the traffic that's coming barreling down? I mean, you're supposed to look before you cross the street.
I did.
You're also supposed to look before you let your dog cross the street, right?
I did.
So, well, if you did,
But she
what
had
did she
enough
fall from
time
the
to
sky?
stop. She was going like 45 miles per hour.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, if somebody is speeding down the street, but somebody else then is walking their dog and walks in front of the car, and they wouldn't have gotten hit if the person was going normal speed, but the person's speeding, and then that's what happened. Who's at fault here?
The driver.
Solely.
No, contributed by the pedestrian.
So are they both at fault?
I would think so.
What do you say?
They're both at fault too.
Sir?
Both at fault. Being complacent, nobody paying attention.
50-50 at fault?
Yeah.
50-50?
Yeah.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
Did you receive any communication from the plaintiff?
Yes.
Tell me what
When she, I guess the day she got the dog cremated, she picked up the police report and she came to my house.
Okay.
She came to the door, she showed me the box of the cremation. Of course, I feel bad. I feel terrible about hitting a dog. Who would want to kill a dog? I told her I was sorry. I apologized, everything. She showed me the box that the dog was in, the cremation, that he was cremated in. And they asked me to pay for the cremation. That was what was made. And she said it was almost like $300. I told her that I didn't have it, but I will see what I can do. Later that night, I got text messages of pictures of the dog. She sent me, not the dog dead, it was a dog alive, but it was like several pictures and her texting me, like, this is who you, like, the dog you killed my loved one, which made me feel even worse. I had to block her because I didn't want to keep receiving those because I already was dealing with stuff myself from doing it.
Did you call her back or no?
Yes, I did.
And what happened?
No, she didn't.
I did call her back. But yeah, we talked and she basically was saying that.
How much did she want?
The first time it was $300. She changed it to $2,400 when we was on the phone the second time, and she said she was going to get a lawyer involved if we didn't make the arrangement between us.
I got it. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
You know that the law requires that you have, quote, control of your dog.
I know.
Most times that means, well, you got to make sure your dog's on a leash.
And he was.
How do you have control of your dog if you have allowed your dog to cross into the street and the dog gets run over by a car that is legitimately in the street driving? The whole concept is you have control of your dog. I know you feel terrible, and I don't want you to feel worse, but I don't understand how that is control of your dog. This side says there wasn't even a leash. I'm going to assume there was a leash.
There was.
I'm going to assume there was a leash. Mm-hmm. But if you're busy having your vision blocked and you've got your dog on a leash and that dog is crossing the street, the dog doesn't know to look both ways, and you're not looking both ways before you let the dog go in there, how is that the dog within your control? It is not. I am very sorry that this happened. These are the saddest days in a pet owner's life. You have a counterclaim against her for $2,000 for what?
It really wasn't about the money. It was just, I want to be left alone.
Right, but why do you file a counterclaim against her for harassment? How is she harassing you?
From coming to my house and keep calling me.
Yeah, that doesn't constitute harassment. I'm ruling against you on your case against her, but I am also ruling against you on your case against her. Streets are for cars, okay?
Right.
And if a dog is crossing the street, its owner better be in control of it and making sure it's safe for a dog to cross. I know that it was run over in the street, not on the sidewalk, not in your garage, in the street. And if you have if the dog is there and that's how this happens, I am so sorry for your loss, but it is not her fault.
So neither side wins their respective lawsuit. Ms. Barlow, I'm sure everybody feels sorry for you. I mean, this had to be a terrible experience.
Yeah, and then she lied about a lot of things because I did not harass her. And she was traveling at a high rate of speed. And how do you not know that you hit a dog? She almost hit me in the process. So it was just all wrong. And I'm very disappointed. I just wanted justice for my dog. And he has another brother at home. I have another little one that's still grieving, and he was more than just a dog.
I'm sure.
He was family.
I'm sure. I'm sorry about that. Thank you very, very much. I hope you can get over this. It's pretty painful, I know. You must sign some documents on your way out of the court arguments, folks. I assume you feel sorry for her. You have to.
I feel terrible, but the dog wasn't on a leash. If I would have seen a dog crossing the street, I would have never hit it. It wasn't on a leash. I feel absolutely terrible, and I do want justice. I want her to get justice for her dog, but I didn't mean to kill a dog. It was an accident, and the dog should have been on a leash, and she was nowhere near the dog.
Okay. The judge agrees with you. Thank you very much. You must sign some documents outside, and Harvey, that's it.
Okay, Doug, I mean, the bottom line here is that the defendant is not responsible because there's no negligence, and you have to show negligence in order to be responsible. And in this case, the dog owner is responsible because the dog owner was not in control of the dog, because you have to maintain that control all the time as you're walking.